Upon returning from the top of Har Sinai with the Luchos, Moshe Rabbeinu sees the terrible chait, the sin that's going on with the Egel HaZahav, the golden calf. He takes the Luchos and he breaks them to the ground. And on the one hand, it's understandable that Moshe Rabbeinu was so upset and overwhelmed, and in the end, HaKadosh Baruch Hu agrees with him. Hashem says, Yashar kochacha sheshibarta. It was a good thing that you broke the Luchos. But if you think about it with a little bit more depth, it's a little bit surprising. Why is it surprising? Because this isn't Moshe Rabbeinu's discovery. This isn't the first moment that suddenly he realizes, wow, they're serving the Egel HaZahav. They're leaving HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's a few psukim earlier when Hashem himself tells Moshe Rabbeinu, Leich, you gotta go back. Because your people, your nation, has sinned. They made an Egel Masecha. They made a golden calf, and they're saying, Eila Elohecha Yisrael, Asher Halucha Me'eretz Mitzrayim, that this is the God who took us out of Egypt. So how come Moshe Rabbeinu didn't, on the spot, break the Luchos? And it's enough. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says it. Is it possible that he didn't believe until he saw, when he actually heard it from God himself? It's very hard to imagine. So some explain that seeing and hearing is not the same thing. And that may be true, but it's hard to believe that Moshe, hearing from God, needed the seeing in order to confirm what was happening. So the Sforno suggests a little bit differently. And the Sforno says that Moshe Rabbeinu absolutely believed that the Bnei Yisrael were sinning, and everything was happening the way that God described it. But what happened when he saw it? When he saw it, he saw that they were celebrating their Aveira. He understood that people and the nation make mistakes, and some of them are absolutely terrible. But the key to being able to fix a mistake is when we feel a little bit of guilt. We're probably familiar with that. Sometimes the Yetzer Hara gets us and trips us up, and we do something that we know we shouldn't have done. And either while it's happening or right afterwards, we feel those pings of guilt. He got me again. I didn't want to do this. And that moment of clarity that this isn't what I wanted to do is the key to being able to pick up the pieces and to move forward. Moshe Rabbeinu understood that God said this is what's happening. But he didn't know what the environment was. Yeah, they were celebrating, but how celebratory was it? It was only when he came down and he saw that the mecholos, they were singing and dancing. That's when the Sforno says he realized this is a me'uvas lo yuchal yiskon. This is something which cannot be overcome as is. These luchos will not be able to go to these people, because if they don't feel any regret, if they don't feel like what they're doing is a mistake, then there's no way to move forward. We have to do something drastic. It's going to be the breaking of the luchos that will hopefully serve as that wake-up call that will tell them, I got to bring them back. And Moshe will have to figure out how he's going to deal with that. And that was what changed. Moshe understood and he believed. But Moshe recognized that the environment and the experience and how that was playing out were critical to whether these luchos could continue with this nation, or there was going to have to be something new, some other way to start and to bring them back. And it's so true in our lives. We're not expected to be perfect. We're going to make mistakes. The Yetzer Hara has a variety of tactics that it will use. And when we are victorious and the Yetzer Hara can't get us to trip, we should celebrate and we should be proud. But even when we make a mistake, it's okay to feel that little bit of guilt afterwards. It's a positive. It's that will help us move forward. But when we reach a point that there's no guilt, that we don't even realize that what we're doing is wrong, when it's naseh keheter, as the Gemara describes, that's when it is so much more difficult. That's what the Sforno understands. That was what Moshe Rabbeinu saw. That Klal Yisrael, because they had drifted somehow so quickly so far that they celebrated their Aveira, that was what needed to be fixed. That's what Moshe understood, and that hopefully serves as a chizuk to us, that Moshe is telling us, and the message should reverberate with us, to realize we'll make mistakes. It's okay. That's part of life. But it's the ability to regret and to feel, I did make a mistake. That's going to be the key to helping us grow closer to Hashem.